hit you over the head with. Why do you always have the final scene in a horror film with lightning? Silence, loud, visual, audio component in that case. Dramatic music, dun, 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 dun. Dramatic sounds. Light flash, dark flash. Light flash, dark flash. The villain's coming with a knife and then it goes dark. Where is he? Now he's over here, now it's dark. Now it's over here. It gets scarier, doesn't it? Those kind of things. The visual components get more extreme. What happens? They keep going into a smaller, well, we're outside. We know there's 12 vampires in there. We know it's nighttime. Let's go in. How would you do that? It's stupid. You go, no, don't go in. But it makes it scary because they're going into a smaller place. Well, they're not out here in the open living room where we can still see the sun not quite setting. Let's go upstairs. The stairs get closed. There's a nice winding stairway. They're not on the stairs. So let's go into the hallway. Now let's go into the cluttered attic where there's boxes where they can hide. Now why would they go in there? The characters wouldn't do it, but the director wants you to do it because the visual component did this. And as the tension got bigger, as the dramatic story got more scary, we wanted the space to close away so that they and the audience couldn't get away. But if they're out in the open field, you know, if they're in the Sahara Desert, where's the vampires? Well, it's blazing sun out and it's open flat plain, we don't have to worry about it. But if it's nighttime, darker, you can't see as well, it's more mysterious, tighter space, easier to hide. And they'll have, invariably you walk by and you see this thing, it's just a mannequin. The shape was the same as the villain, so they fool you with shape. They use all the visual components to tell their story. You can do the same thing if you're a Rembrandt, if you're a Titian, if you're a Raphael. You can say that mother with children is a triangle, that children are triangles, that flesh is eggs, that Christian people wear black, wear a white because they're pure, wear blue because they're connected with a mysterious thing, and wear red because they're a second birth, a second coming of new life kind of idea. You can play with all these things, or you can take all those same things and make it completely different. But those visual components have a lot of power, other than just making it attractive or not irritating as a design. They're tools to reinforce very specific concepts potentially. And if you do a little bit of film, look at film, because you probably, a lot of you are probably more comfortable seeing film than you are paintings. Even if you paint quite a bit, you probably see more film than you go to museums. You'll be able to see those fairly quickly. And look at the, look at the dramatic ones, the shoot 'em ups. You'll see it really clearly. You'll find these visual tools. One more thing I'll tell you, and then we'll do our last set. If you look at film, and you can do this in painting too, not just the characters, not just the story theme, but the setting itself has a personality. And you'll find in film that the setting, if the filmmaker's smart, the setting's very important. They'll put you in a place that increases the concept. If you watch Apocalypse Now, what do? They go up the river. When you go up to a river, what are you doing? You're going up to the source, nature's source. And they use that as a symbol, and a lot of movies have, use that as a symbol of leaving civilization and down the river, going up to this natural, wild, primeval beginning. And there was Marlon Brando had gone insane, thought he was God, and had all these natives following him like he wasn't God. And we followed this chaos as they went up through this. What did they do in African Queen? They started up the river. You had Humphrey Bogart, who was this crotchety old individual guy, didn't want to get involved with the war, didn't want to get involved with love, just leave me alone, all right, I'll take you down the river. By the time he got down the river, he'd fallen in love and beaten the Nazis in the war. He came back to civilization and joined in the fight, and joined back in. Why are Westerns always on the plains? Well, we had cowboys in the Southwest, it's flat, but symbolically, that's where if you're fast enough, you can win the day. You can be as tough as you can be. You can have whatever you want if you have a quicker draw. It's a place of equality. They were all equal. So they would do that. Why is the wise man always up on the mountain? That mountain is taking all the things in the world and putting it on one point. And that, the wise old man has the one truth that our hero wanted to get. So we go up the mountain and find that. And you'll find that settings can have an emotional philosophical idea to it. If I'm a person who's alone, a loner, and doesn't want to deal with anybody, and I'm an island unto myself, maybe we'll put him on an island. So you can use the setting itself. You can do that in film. I mean, you can do that in pictures. You can put it in such an environment that it gives the sense of what you want before you ever draw a shape. Just by the placement of it, the environment, you can create a certain emotion. So you put them in a boxing ring, you put them on a stone floor, you put them in a church, you put them on a basketball court, where the heck you put them any place you want. And that can mean something to your audience, or they may never figure it out. It may mean just something to you. But that gives you one more tool, one more power to use. So you can use a setting, you can use any object or any idea as the basis. In Fatal Attraction, I've told this before, they use water. Everything that bad happened in that movie happened around water. It was visually anchored by water. They met in the rain. She tries to kill him with the kitchen knife. She cuts her wrists in the bathroom. She parboils the bunny, and she dies in a bathtub. They use water as a visual anchor to show that, just like a horror film would use lightning. And in Alien, they used eggs and mothers to do it. In Godfather used skull images. They lit the characters this way so they look like skulls when they were talking. So you can use, there's a million ways to do it. You can be very vivid in the way you, I just watched, what was that movie I told you that used decapitation? Oh, it was the Talented Mr. Ripley. I just saw that on video. She didn't want to see it. She was out of town, so I watched it. And it was an old Hitchcock. They just redid it as Hitchcock. They cast everybody, they lit everybody. The story was like an old Hitchcock. And I'll have to watch it again because I picked up on it about halfway through. But the basic theme was he wanted to take on this fellow's personality. He didn't have his own personality. He wanted his. He wanted his identity. So they used the head as the image for that. And as it got on, he started getting more and more dangerous, take on more and more of the personality, and it became a big thriller at the end. We kept seeing these decapitation images. We saw a statue behind him with the head cut off. He's crawling. Or he killed one guy by taking a bus and hit him, and then you see the bus instead of the guy's bloody corpse. You saw the bus roll across the floor. But they did that 8 or 10 times where they used this absence of a head. You know, usually it was some artwork or something like that. They used that separation, that idea that he wanted to steal who he was. He wanted to get inside his head and take it, basically. So they literally did that in the image. And the pivotal point where it really came to the moment where you could tell that the guy decided that he wasn't going to be able to be with this guy, so he was going to have to become this guy. They were standing, and it was a long shot, they were standing. There's a Greek sculpture with the head cut off, and it was holding this water urn, which was in Greek, a life-giving. You poured this out, and you fertilized the plant, and you gave life through this water. Well, this guy, this kid had been given our villain what he needed all through the movie, and now it was going to be taken away. I think the guy says, I think we're going to split here. I'm going to go my way, you go yours, and you can just tell the guy who's getting the point. But they had this visual standing right behind to pick up on it. And so they used that as the visual anchor to hold it together. So that the possibilities are endless. So you can just be creative. But think about every visual has a possible dramatic